So people, we're here, father and son, having a go for perch. Now, we haven't fished together since we had a pike session once, but perch fishing, you reckon how long?
I reckon it's nearly 7 years since I've been perch fishing. You guys, old school TA fishing fans, will remember the Drop Shot Diaries was the series I did when I got really into the perch fishing. And then obviously I went down a different avenue, started TA Outdoors, and we're back. Father and son are back. And we're using fairly light gear, aren't we? Well, fairly heavy gear for perch. Dad's not using light gear.
Dad's on 50-pound braid, so I want to get my lure back.
Sea fishing gear almost. But,
almost, yeah.
But lure-wise, we're using the same lures. So they're not a shad. They're about 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches. I've just got a little jig head on there, really small. You probably can't see that, but it's all small, lightweight for me. Yeah. And I'm using actually a five-piece. I'm using a travel rod that compacts down into a small little case like this. I'll link it in the description, just a small one, and we're going to see what we can catch.
Got different tips though, hasn't it?
Yeah, interchangeable tips, and I can put a fly fishing tip on it or any sort of light tip, but we're going to just chuck out here. It's been raining for the last 2 days solid, hasn't it?
Well, not heavy rain, but it's got a tinge of colour. Last time I came down here, you've probably seen some of the films before when I was struggling trying to get a barbel or a chub, no chance. I've had fished into the dark, nothing. But, you know, I have seen some big fish move around here perch-wise, and that's what made me think, you know what, I don't do drop shotting.
Oh, yes!
He's on.
I've got something small, but
it's got perch on.
Yes. Dad, I haven't been for 7 years. I've got the bug.
You know, they're not bad little perch. We used to go on the river before and get real tiny one.
Look at that. It's just a beautiful looking fish, aren't they?
Got his fin up.
Yeah.
Totally awesome fin.
Brilliant.
That super glue works a treat, don't those fins? Both fins up.
Look at that.
Primary and secondary.
Yeah.
But I did see a big one here, guys, when I was pike fishing. It followed me and I went, oh my God. And that's when Mike said, you know, I think I could better come and have a go and look at this.
Dad sent me this picture, honestly, of this perch he caught, and I thought,
you guys haven't seen it.
I said, that's it. I'm going back to perch. We need to come here. Yeah. Anyway, I've had a membership here for over a year and I've not fished it.
This is the second year and he hasn't even seen the river.
You better get
fishing. I think
fishing.
you'll see a few snags. It's about 30 inches deep, and then just fish it nice and slow. If you get snagged in the weed, and we will lose gear, no question that we're going to lose gear. But that's the way perch fishing is. Perch fishermen know that. But what I couldn't get on with, and I can't fish it somehow, is the drop shotting. You know, Mike used to lose so much gear with that weird weight setup they used to have there. Just watch, nothing follows you in close. That's why I saw that big one in there, you know, coming in close. He came up and wait for this, a 4-inch pike dead bait.
I'll tell you what, these lures flash really well.
Yeah,
Dad.
we need to in this. Yeah, that's it.
So actually, we've gone well with a white lure with silver back and glitter in this chocolate water. Come on, fishies.
But if there's a chance of a big perch, it will be quite a decent sized one from what I've seen.
Here we go. That's number 3 in 3 minutes.
They're not bad size actually. They're not these tiny weeny ones that drive you mad.
No, they're good.
I've got, just so you know, 50-pound braid on my reel.
50?
A carp hook, one of these rubbery, whatever the thingies are, and I've got a swan shot on 40-pound, I think it is wire, it might be 30-pound
Dad,
wire.
you're fishing for the
in
Loch
case a
Ness.
pike grabs it.
Is it the lucky cast? This is Dad's first cast. You watch, I bet you'll get a 3-pounder now. Any snags down here, Dad, on the right?
You can try it, but there will be weed snags and stuff.
I'm just going to hop in this little bit of slack.
You might just have yours hooked right, you know. Mine actual lure does look a little bit rigid somehow. I think I've got a bend in it. I would think actually, to be honest guys, there's probably in this river, there might be a chance of a chub or something like that taking these small lures.
Yeah!
He's on again.
They're down here, Dad, they're below our feet.
They're closer in, aren't they?
Tell you what, Dad, they're absolutely inhaling these lures.
Yeah, they're on the feed, aren't they? Definitely.
Yeah. Right, they seem to be close in, so get it right near the bank, I think.
We're using real microphones this time. And you'll know it's a bit strange because I'm so used to turning to the camera for the voice to go towards the old...
And we don't have to, we're on radio mics.
The old duct tape pieces of foam over the microphone, so if I talk I'm going that way. I'm not used to talking and fishing at the same time. God, we could get over the top of him with a drone.
Yeah.
You look at these.
It's a bit of a jungle.
Well, I've got the wellies.
Bushwhacking. No, we get a treat.
Just watch he's not holding.
Any good swims there, Dad?
Jungle.
Jungle.
Okay, I'm trying to get in here. Like, obviously, it's plainly obviously nobody's been in here. So I'm trying to tread it down, but I'm using my landing net pole, trying to feel that I don't disappear off the edge.
Which you have done in the past,
I have been down there. So there's the drop. So you think the nettles are growing out there, it's hard bait. No, it's not. It takes a bit of time. And of course, the thing is, I'm now telling everybody else where I've been fishing. It's just the way it is, but it looks like we're the first ones in here. If we can get some of it down. Anyway,
this is snaggy.
I think, watch your tip over there. That's it, let it sink, then bring it back to the right somewhere slowly. Watch your tip in there.
There's the slack. Oh, that's weed, I think.
Could be, yeah. A little bit faster with it there.
Need sort of... There's not much sort of streamer weed, is it? It's quite...
I think there's bits in there further down.
I'm in the fast flow here. Just there.
You on?
No, I don't know, that's weed.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I thought it was called
thick.
tip shadow, yeah. Actually, previously over in that corner somewhere. Pretty sure I did.
Like a jack pike?
Yeah, on dead bait. Quite a lot of features, it's just a shame that a lot of it you can't actually get right down to the river. He's definitely hunting.
Yeah. Lovely to see.
It is, absolutely, yeah.
A lot of British countryside wildlife here, isn't it?
I'm not going to pike fish here because I know
Would
there's...
you not want to run your big lure through first?
No, that'll put the perch off. You want to go down as far as you can.
Oh yeah, I see.
No,
I'll test it. Just keep going, yeah?
Just keep going, another step. I had one pike I landed there, follow me in, they're round to the left, but they try over there
So
first.
swing in the middle and bring it round.
Watch over there, let it go over the back.
I'll swing it out and let the current take it. No, I won't.
Is your camera running?
Yeah. I told you, it's been 7 years, Dad. Right,
That's it, like that.
Slack. I'm in the slack. Come on, perch. Right, I've got a stick. Don't want to burn it. Give me my lure back. Is this all water down here, or is this?
Go down slow. Oh, that's where I had my hip where I had a really bad crash there.
Did you?
Yeah.
That is slippy.
I got it on the way up, coming up.
It's really snaggy there. Oh my God, I got a pike.
Oh, take your time.
I'm only on braid.
You switched on.
I need the net, yeah. That's what bumped me. He's going to snag me. Oh, he's right on the corner of the lips. He's taking the pike lure, the perch lure, sorry. Oh no. Come on.
Just keep him nice and slow.
He's in the fast
He's
flow. Look, he's
through.
right in the lip. Hold on, let me get back. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, yes, and it picked up.
It fell off the hook.
Yes.
It fell off the hook.
The lure just fell off.
Oh my
Beauty.
God, that was lucky, wasn't it?
Let me get the net. I'll leave the lure up in the tree a minute.
I thought you...
I don't know how I managed to land that. It's a lovely little pike.
He spat the hook as it went in the net.
Honestly, yeah, the net just went under him and then bang, the hook came out.
Well, you had a bump before that, you said.
I had a bump, and I reckon it was this pike.
You reckon he snapped at it?
Yeah, it's only a jack pike, but to have it on the light rod there with the sensitive tip.
Bit of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, beauty. Look at the markings on that. I'll just get close in there. Look at that.
Well done, a good start.
Yes, Dad.
You've got another 2 miles of river to walk yet.
Hold on, mate.
It'll go straight under the bushes.
There you go.
Under there, yeah.
Gone.
That's good.
Guys, let me show you. This was the hook he just took. The jig head.
Could have straightened out any time.
Yeah, look at that. We've got that pike. I felt him bump the back there. But that tiny little hook, which is a bit bent actually after that, but that's awesome. Well, as I was trampling over this green area here with that pike, I noticed the smell of mint. And if I just pull this up for you, just to show you guys, this is water mint here. And we're absolutely surrounded by it in this swim. You can almost smell it before you see it. But just so you know, a really good way of identifying mint, that's what the leaves look like on water mint. But also, obviously, crushing it up, it smells distinctly of mint, really, really nice. But the main thing as well, to tell with this family, it's the Lamiaceae family. The main thing to tell is that the stem on mint is actually square. And I'm hoping you can see that on the camera there. If I zoom in a bit, you might be able to see that it's a square stem, which is quite unusual on a lot of plants. But the Lamiaceae family, the mint family, it has a square stem, and that's another way of identifying water mint. So this is really good this time of year, coming into winter, autumn time. Obviously it's going to die back, but you can pick these leaves and you can dry them either in a dehydrator or just dry them in some paper towel or a brown paper bag, and then you can crush the leaves up and you can have them in a tea, in a herbal tea. You can have these green in the tea as well. You just pick them off the stem, especially the younger leaves like that, get some boiling water and let it steep in there, and then you have a nice fresh minty tea, really good for your immune system, and it smells amazing. Well folks, we're hitting middle of the day, 1 o'clock. We've had a few small perch, obviously had that small jack pike as well, but we're going to grab some lunch, I think, aren't we, Dad?
Yeah, it's tum-tum time, definitely tum-tum time.
Get some food that we've packed with us,
yeah.
And then you're going to show me a different stretch.
Yeah, we're going to drive right all the way around the estate on another area, which is more, I call it formal, which is bigger because the two rivers are joined, and it's not an unpleasant place to fish. It's equally as snaggy as it is here, but it's sort of easier, it's easier to walk. So we'll just go down and we can just try and see if we can't pick another fish or two up.
Oh, it's about number 6. Lure's doing well, there we go. That's a better size, Dad.
Yeah, good size right there.
Yeah, oh, the lure's come out there.
I've noticed the smaller ones have some real nice markings on them.
Yeah. Gonna put his fins up? No.
I thought I'd bring you people down here because a few films ago I showed you a stream. Now, there's a reason it's low, but it's just catastrophically low, and I just basically wanted to talk to you about why it is low. So I'll show it to you now. This should all be gravel and chalk, and you can see it's covered in the silt. Yeah, I mentioned it before. Now they've got work going on by a mill upstream, and they've diverted it away, which I will show you. But I just want to, if I can extend this pole, I just want to extend it out there and show you the heaps of mud on the top. Now then, of course, you could say, well, you just said the level's been dropped, Graham. Yeah, I'm showing you where the level's going to be dropped. They've actually diverted it to work on this mill. But the fact that they've got these humps of silt or mud there shows me that it's been put there by a lack of flow, otherwise it'd be washed away. And I can show you further up here, look. If I point, you'll see out there's water in here. I go out about 20 feet. It's just a slab of mud, a bit like sea fishing really. It's like the tide's out, that's what I want to say, it's like the tide's out. Now they're rebuilding all this planking, here, fine, that's okay. That's what they put there to try and increase the flow and stop the bank erosion. But it's not worked, has it? Painfully obviously it's not worked, because the other side of that hazel there are, you know, it's bare. It's absolutely bare and dry. Now, should the flow have been even relatively normal, let's get close to that one. If it was even relatively normal, you wouldn't have seen that, would you? You wouldn't have known there was a sort of a hump underwater. Look at the one over there, huge. There's only one thing that causes that, it's lack of flow. So you can see here, there's absolutely no flow at all. Another one of those banks there. I can see bits of gravel there, which obviously this would come through as a mill race from the mill, which is there. Now, I've never seen the mill ever working, but you can see there's no water there at all. And that's because around here they got, looks like, some problems. So you can see here the boats are just virtually dry over there. Must have dropped 2 feet, 2 feet 6, 30 inches, and you can see all the mud there. And that's the silt that's laying there, and the flow is going that way to the mill. So I'll show you up at the mill. So the water's being diverted down here, as you can see. It's rushing down through the sluice, and they've got it bagged up and dried over there. As you can see, there's a lot of damage, I would say. All the brickwork's probably collapsed, and they've got to rebuild that, which would have sent it in at an angle into the mill. So they bagged it here to push the flow across. If you walk up here, you can actually see over the back the levels drop to where the actual river flow is, and over there's about, I'm going to say it's about that much of a drop, and that's since a couple of days. So this is the main flow, this is all the flow there is now, although the actual width is way over there, as you can see. But as that silt grows, as that silt sediment settles there, it creates rooting area more and more and more, so all that encroachment pushes it narrower and narrower. And here is what it should be. Down there is flint and chalk, and that's what should be all over this. I'll just show you one bit at the very top where the flow is fastest. Now here you can see the flow's faster, and there's little bits of sediment being broken up and going along there, and it's leaving a cleaner mud. It's actually washing the sediment. I can see it all going down there in a cloud over the back. So the faster the flow, the more it scours out, and that's the problem that we've got. I think it's about 3 golf balls down there in the mud. 4, 5, 6 golf balls, 7 golf balls. Quite what that's about, I don't know. I think they're golf balls. So this is all that's left of the flow, but I just want to show you what it should look like at the very top. So this section up here is about where the flow is at its fastest, and this is where the water is, I'm going to say cleanest, but it's where this increased flow, where they jam down the bottom, look, has revealed the chalk and flint and the clear sort of gravelly stretches. I'll put the camera right out there, and then you can actually should be able to see how clear that is now, and it's only faster flow washing all that black stuff here clean. So now you can see by restricting that flow and making the river flow faster, it scours all the rubbish out of it. Well, that's fine, but you can only restrict it to a certain level, can't you? And you could dig all this out with a digger if you wanted, but you can't put any more water in there, can you? So you've got the same problem. The problem is the powers that be are taking the underground aquifer water from deep reservoirs under the ground and giving it all to housing estates, which we can't just keep supplying these housing estates, can we? Where is the water coming from? It is a finite resource. We don't have massive reservoirs or anything, do we? I mean, look how clean this is now. Getting caught in all the nettles now in excitement. Up here they've tried to put boards there. Can you see those? Obviously trying to alter the flow, I guess, to speed things up. There's another sort of secondary trickle coming in there. But by the time you get back there, the rest of it just goes like a giant big estuary with a tide out, except it's fresh water. There is no tide here. And of course, this lack of flow, when it's gone like this is being done for a job, don't get me wrong, it's being done because obviously that's got to be repaired down there. But I just thought, once that's refilled and they've done the job, you won't ever get to see this again, not probably even in my lifetime. Look down here. That's the colour of the bank. Used to be when I was a kid. I used to come up here as a kid. I haven't just discovered it. I'm talking 60 years ago. We used to come up here. It never looked mud pie like this. Look. A trickle. I would suggest the water quality here is good. But it's the volume of water we need. It's just being sucked out. It's like taking everything away that nature needs. And we did as well. So I'm not really having a rant, or am I having a rant? Not really, I'm just trying to illustrate a point which possibly nobody else is going out there doing. And being a river fisherman who enjoys his river fishing, especially barbel fishing, I thought this is an ideal miniature picture of what happens when a flow goes down. Because the flow's been reduced here for a reason, to mend up by the mill. But it just goes to show you. Maybe they're just bits of... No, they look like round golf balls to me. That's weird. So once this is getting, once the repair job has been filled up, then obviously the water will come back up. That increased flow, which is making this clear right down here like that, it's gone. It'll be reduced again. The volume will be spread all over. It'll go down to a trickle. And my gut feeling is, if I brought the camera down here next year, in 6 months, on a sunny day, that's going to be black with that silt again. Back to square one. Guys, thanks for watching this little segment. I'll try and find some other bits for you if I can. But I thought if I don't come out, and they got a storm coming in a couple of days, if I don't come out and do this, I won't see it again, will I? Needless to say, if there is not a fish in sight, I can actually see the colour in the water here. I can see the mud and silt getting washed down. Where it's been cleaned, it's actually been cleaned by the pace of the river. Basically, we need a lot more water flow everywhere, all our rivers. Well, I think we're all agreed that the rivers do need a lot more water. Anyway, that's the wet and watery stuff side done. Now it's going to move on to our new section, Random Productions. It's winter, guys. The weather's getting colder, the nights are drawing in, and it is, yes, pallet time. As you can see here, I have been hastily stripping down as many pallets as I can. This tells the story. Look, a heap of pallet wood right next to, yes, some fishing tackle. And, yes, log burner time, some firewood. So what I've basically done, I'm more worried about wifey, who's had the knee op and has had a broken wrist and multiple bits of metal put in her wrist from a bike crash during COVID. If she falls over again, it will not be good for her. So I've stripped the pallets down, fired screws in there, and I'll show you if I can ever lift this great big giant thing. I don't even know if I can get it round there, where it's going to go. I've got another big bald thing there. What I've done is pull it up, got some old carpet round here. It's this area here. Because as you can see, oh, they're not really my size and colour. I suppose I could wear them. So wifey comes in to dry her stuff in here, obviously the greenhouse. You can tell it's getting near autumn time because the sacks are getting bigger and bigger and bigger of all the logs that are going to be my super dried logs for the log burner. But if she's coming in here to dry the washing, a lot of it have rotted out, so I've gone back to the base here, which has got DPC left over it, and I'm going to make a boardwalk from here to there. Back here, Gardenville, we rarely use it. I've jacked up the shed, which subsidence. All of this under here, this whole height difference between the lawn there and here, is from tons and tons, which Mike actually helped with a dumper truck. See if I can put a picture up, that'll embarrass him. He drove the dumper truck, and it's from the pilings. They went down like 27 feet to sink the pilings in the house, so it's rigid. All clay, lovely. So I've had it all put in here and built up. It's cheaper than, you know, paying to get it. Okay, thousands probably to take it all away. As with clay, things move, so I just jack this up higher, so the potting shed can be accessed. The door doesn't stick, and then we can have a good old clear up and tidy up out here, ready for the winter. My main concern is, am I going to be able to lift that huge board thing now I've made it all the way around here? Oh well, I want to go fishing this evening as well. Grab a couple of hours, try and go catch a chub. Try and catch a chub down the local river where I constantly foul 3 sort of blanks in a row. But it's only a couple of hours that it goes, so it's no problem. It's nice to be on the river, to be honest. Jacks are like this when I pull the plastic up, because for sure there'll be rats under there. So there's not many people that go into a pond with a bushcraft or log axe, is there? It's actually a hewing axe, that one, but the idea is the pond is defunct. It is no more. It is hold. It's not going to fill up with water again. It was my deepest one, but I'm not about to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds having another liner put in, new underlying carpet, which you have to have there to stop the stones coming through the liner. So it's had its 15 years of fun, as have I. So now I'm hacking away. What am I hacking at? My lilies, because I want to save some of the roots of the lilies before the frost gets them. So the easiest way to do that is to split them down with an axe. It might seem brutal, but I assure you I've done it many times before, including the yellow iris. And I'm going to transfer them to my one and only pond. I'm going to heave them in there just for now, because this one doesn't go down. It's only quite shallow, but I will repot those at some later stage. I've got my own water flow system because we've got some rain coming. I want to top up, so I'll make sure I keep it there. I've got a drain pipe system that runs off the roof of the garage. So I get the area of the roof of the garage and the area of the pond as well. I get what you call a box cutter, we call them a Stanley knife. I cut up the liner. Now, the top half of the liner, up to where the brown mark is absolutely sort of, I'm going to call it tinder dry and stiff and brittle, pretty useless. But the bottom half, being underwater up to a few weeks ago, is actually still relatively pliable. And I'm going to use this for weed blinds on a big area I've got that I don't want to buy expensive weed blind for. So I'm going to be getting rid of this stuff anyway, so it's absolutely thick because it's like rubberized. I did pay for a thick one, so that's ideal for all my weed blinds, and then hopefully we can just see the stones and not the weeds through them. A lot of work. So there you go, that was the object of the exercise. Now I have to fill it with all sorts of rubbish. I've got wood linings, old rotting wood at the bottom, because that's going to be filled up. My general idea is to fill it full of leaves, which I'm going to get plenty of this autumn, and grass cuttings.
As you can see, we use 1 metre ton bags at a go because we have quite a lot of grass cuttings.
The gentleman here is going to show us what a new design or concept in the plug system.
Yep. So it's called a tappet. So the idea for this one is that you've got the tappet itself. Idea for here, we can literally just hammer it into the wall. And then when I get the hammer, we've got, once that's in,
explain how it happens,
you've
what
got
the working behind it is.
As the screw goes in,
yes,
it will push down, and we've got the 2 leads that basically just then open apart behind the plasterboard, which then clamps into the plasterboard, allowing it to give it the clamping force that it needs to hold in.
The plastic ones that expand, but that can come out again.
Yeah, so the other thing with these ones is that once you're done with them, you can, let's get one that I can try and do with my fingers.
Send it through first.
We can just start the thread back in, pull back out, and then you're just left with a tiny little slot, bit of filler, sand it down, paintwork over the top.
No big holes like I use, guys. No.
Yeah.
So if you can tap one in and just show us, and hopefully it goes through if you've got space. You have to have the company hammer.
Well, it's a company coloured hammer anyway. So one of the few things we don't do.
So you get your X marks the spot.
Yeah, so we put an X on there and then
just start it.
Get them in.
Intersect, which is definitely not
And then
You've got other ones that go through to begin the holes bigger when they spread it actually.
That's them there,
and then what's happening on the other side is those 2 leads are starting to separate, and that's what's then clamping this in. By the time that's gone in about 1/3 of the way, it's already pretty much fully expanded, so you've got your maximum clamping force. In terms of the clamping force on these, if you're pulling it straight out of the wall, you've got about 12 to 15 kilograms, and if you're going straight down, so in a shear load for it, it's about 30 kilograms.
Oh, it's a lot. There's a plasterboard.
Yeah, it's a caveat though, it depends on the plasterboard.
Yes, exactly.
So,
age of. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So some plasterboard will be stronger than others, so...
Okay, let me just look around the back and show this. If you lean around just...
So there's the one from there.
So that's expanded there.
Yeah, so if I undo it...
I can see them now, they've opened up.
And then as I undo it, you'll see it slowly start to close again. And if you take the screw all the way out initially,
because when you get the plastic ones, standing knife to cut them off and tap them in further before you can fill. That's my experience.
So on this one, I say pop it in, just start the thread, and I can then just
ease it out.
Put it out with the fingers. There you go, just a little slip. These can be reused as well.
I'm thinking that already.
Yeah. So the only thing is they do, as you can see on this one, it's slightly deformed.
Yes.
So you just have to hold the 2 leaves together.
Pinch the 2 outside flanges together.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant, something different. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.
Appreciate it, thank you. So something that might interest you here when you put your tackle for match fishermen or sea fishermen is a tackle box system, I'm going to call it, but it's obviously for tools, yeah?
Generally for tools, but we have found that it is great for people like fishermen and other trades where it's just great for storage and organising. So what we have is 3 sizes of cases. We've got a small, medium and a large, which are all the same dimensions except for the height, which allows them to all interlock and stack together. So all made from really high quality German ABS plastic. It makes it really strong and durable, so much so you can stand on them, sit on them, drop them, they're all going to be absolutely fine. It allows us to save weight on the outside but keep a really nice large internal volume. So nicely sealed, you've got a really easy to lock, one-handed. You've got a nice little padlock area there as well. You have a self-balancing handle. So what that'll do is make it so that it sits nicely, even if it's a lot of weight in there, make it comfortable to carry, doesn't get stuck like that. Unlocked from each other, it's just the clips on the side there. To lock together, as simple as that, and away. So they go any order, back to front. You can see, forgotten to lock one of the bottom boxes, it's all fine. As long as you've locked the top, it doesn't matter about locking the bottom. Say they go any order. They fit onto the trolley exactly the same way. You have a foldable sack trolley. It'll take 120 kilograms. All you need to do is locate and you're off. So the handle will do 90 kilograms. We do a dolly trolley which will do 200. but then there's also ability to create.
Does it have bigger wheels, the dolly trolley?
It's got 4 caster, smaller caster. It's more for you, but so this will be more for your market.
Generalised, yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to go more off road, aren't you? And
yeah,
things
be
like
outside,
that, so,
yeah.
Yeah. So
And they're just straight boxes inside. The actual in the bottom.
So we do a range of foams that can fit in the lids or protect other items. We do a lid panel. You screw it into any of the lids, and you can put your tools in there, or any kind of fishing tackle, knives such as so.
That's it. So they put their reels and everything in the bottom. Oh, you've got loads in there.
So these pre-molds would go there. So we do a 5 tray, a 10 tray, or an 18.
Oh, stacks, yeah.
Yeah. We also do.
Do you have to buy the whole system as a 3?
No.
Or you can buy that on its own?
You can buy everything individually. So there is a little bundle deal where you get one of each size and a trolley.
Yes.
Which is a little bit of a saving, but you can then also buy anything individually. All the accessories can all be bought individually. So this is a panel set which can divide and also keep your equipment stored in there. I was
just thinking that size can still piece of cushion or something makes a seat, almost, or even maybe with a second door. I might want 2, and not perhaps a full 3.
Large,
or that in the medium will probably be about sitting height, 18 inches. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No, definitely. Any size goes together. So we sell to people. They might want 5 or 6 small because they've got lots of small items they want to keep organised.
And you've had a few fishermen.
Yeah, we've had fishermen. Obviously, we generally, because of what we do with other items, is that we try to target the tradesmen, but it hasn't stopped other people in other industries using it. And say fishermen are one of those that are very happy with it. Like I say here as well, you've got it's quite small, unfortunately, but you've got little pick boxes, so you can really tailor the inside and make it modular and exactly how you want it with your different equipment.
Fishermen all have lots of bits and pieces. Yeah. That's why that bottom box will be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I say
what's the history on these? The actual make, Riser? What
so
German?
So originated in Germany. It's we mainly do screws. So again, for the carpenters and people like that. But again, diversified out into storage, try and help out the tradesmen with their daily jobs. So again, let's say, and it ties in nicely with the fishermen, the fact that we have sold it to a number of those, and they've really loved it because of the fact that you can tailor the inside so easily to suit you. So you get a really nice, strong, sturdy box for storing anything, but you can then tailor the inside to exactly suit you. So it doesn't matter what
sea
industry
fishing
you're
or freshwater.
So definitely, it could be worth looking into, and say you wouldn't be disappointed.
There you go, guys. Cool. Great, mate. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Hi there, Graham. It's that time of year again. We're going to hit the sort of the pike fishing season, really, or we were away already. So I'm just going to run through some of the bits available, how to rig up and start off pike fishing, really. So as you can see there, that's straightforward. That's your rig bin. So when you either buy your ready-made traces or your own traces, you sort of put your swivel on the pin and then wind them all round and put your hooks in. So it's a good way to store, and you've got lots of space on there. There's probably 20 different rigs on there.
Stays it tangled, doesn't it?
Stays it tangled and stops you getting a treble hook stuck in the pocket of your bag, which I'm sure
I've been there.
You've done at some point. Yeah.
Knapsacks, all that business. Yeah.
We'll start here and I'll work my way through what I've put on the counter. So main lines. So normally quite a heavy duty main line. So I'd probably suggest a very minimum of 12, but most places would probably suggest £15 and no less for a main line. That's in mono. If you were thinking about braid, possibly. This is just one example I've picked off the wall, which is Berkeley Whiplash, and that's 32 pounds breaking strain. So you don't go too thin on the braid, because obviously it's a bit less abrasive resistant compared to the mono.
And I know people do it. Sometimes they do go light on braid, and I found, you might confirm it or deny it, if you go too light, when you cast on a windy day, it sort of balloons up in the air.
It does.
And I'm happy using really heavy braid. That's me. That's me.
Yeah. So like even for like my beach fishing, I just use a £50 braid straight through now. Yeah. I find it much easier and I don't get the wind knot. So minimum of £30, I would say, on the braid, and you shouldn't get your wind knots and stuff. Okay. And then we've got a range of floats. So if we look at some of the floats we got. So this is called a Zeppler. That's an inline float. So you run the line straight through with a stop knot at the top normally. That's a vane float, as they call them, or a drift float.
For the wind, yeah?
It's for the wind, so it picks up in the wind with that, and it'll spin and move along with the bait. So if you were there and the wind was blowing, it might move it along a bit, so it covers a bit of water. And I'll have to show you what the big weather vane floats, which is for drifting out further on big pits. So that's a good one, but that's another type. That's a swivel attachment, so not an inline. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera.
Yeah, got it. So you swivel at the bottom, so the line goes through there. And
that's it, and then you trap it either side, stops either side. This is another sort of a stubby slider, or a slim slider they call it, so it's just a short, sort of more fat style one.
And you call that inline again with
that's an inline, yeah. And then you've also got a dead bait pencil, which again is a non-inline, that's a swivel attachment there.
Why do you call it a dead bait pencil? Or dead bait?
Dead bait pencil, basically they lie these almost flat on the top of the pencil, and as they pick up then they stand up and you can see them, but it's just more to do with this type of float. And then also I've got another old school style float. I'm going to open this one because it makes it
it's modern.
See what it is. It probably is modern for you, Graeme. It's probably your terminal tackle in your box. Yeah. So these are made by Alcox. You won't see many of these anymore. I've got these in from Ireland because I just like the style. So you can have your trace, everything set up with no float, pop your line through there, stick your peg in, and that's it. Trap down easy. But obviously you've got to remember, keep your line on the back of the float. Otherwise, when you peg it, if it's at the front of the float, it's still going to fall off. And obviously, depending on the diameters of your line, to when you trap that, you know if you've got to push it a little bit more or not.
You'd be right with 15-pound main line, but if you go stupidly light, it's not going to pinch it, is it?
No, it won't pinch it. I mean, to be fair, there's not much of a gap in there, so I think you'd be all right.
See that,
lines on there. And I've got these from sort of 5 gram, which is quite large for a 5 gram float, really.
Yeah.
Up to 35 gram. So something a bit different. People like them because they look a bit more old and traditional.
Old school traditional.
Yeah, quite cool. Just something different. So. Then we also got this option, so that's like another big cigar style pencil float, but this is a complete ready-made kit. So you get your float, I'll hold that up so it's a bit better for you.
That's better, yeah.
So in this you get a float, you also get your stock beads, and you get, so they're the stock beads on a wire, then you got your loose just plain rubber bead, you have your trace there with your hooks, your snap tackle ready to go, and then you get a little egg weight as well just to balance this down to make it stand up on end. I don't know if you've got that. So
can I just glance in there?
Yeah.
Is that for keeping a dead bait on, or is that something just for marketing? That
no, right. So this big bit here,
the orange
is called a bait flag. You can always buy them separate, or if you like me and probably like Graeme, you'd probably find a piece of rubber that works the same. I.e. elastic band is my favourite.
So it's for visual and maybe
holding the bait on in place, so it won't come off. So again, you just literally thread all this up. You'd have your float rubbers to hold your float in place, you'd have your egg weight on, then you'd have a bead, and then you swivel and that underneath. So it's all quite very simple to set up.
And of course people can come in and if they want it made, you can show them how to make it
I've
individuals.
been making traces today for a young lad who's just starting off his pike fishing. He's done his pike teaching course with Farnham Angling, which teaches you how to hook the pike, which is quite a good thing. And he's coming to ask me some information on how to catch his pike on the canal locally. So
that's good. So now these are what goes next. Let's come across there.
So let's go to snap tackles. So these are some of the types that are ready made. So that'll be your basic, which is 2 treble hooks, trace wire. You've got obviously a couple of crimps. So there's 3 crimps involved in that with the actual hooks, and a crimp and a swivel.
Yeah,
so
that's a size 8. That's a treble hook.
Size 8 treble hook. You'll find in my shop I generally just stock semi-barbed.
Yes.
Because you have 1 barb to put into the bait and the other 2 are barbless. And
yes.
To be fair, with that amount of hooks, I don't think you need barbs on every single one.
No, I agree, yeah.
Okay, and you will find there are quite a few places you want barbless. So perhaps one day I'll go through some different barbless circle hooks that you could use as well, which probably help people for certain venues.
That wire would be what on there, just approximately?
Approximately, that's probably a 20-pound wire, I would say.
So you want a minimum of that, really? Or
a minimum of 25. Usually you'll find the lighter wires people use when they're perch fishing or zander fishing, just in case they catch a pike.
Yeah,
but in general, 20 pounds and upwards, you will find all your different braids. You get soft, coated, uncoated, you get quite a few different types. This is more of a posh one, so this is again made by Esox, which is Drennan, and you've got
sleeves.
That's your bait sleeves on there. Obviously at the moment what they call then, so that's your anti-tangle sleeve, but they put that as your blood red colour as they call it, and that's your neutral colour over the swivel, just to tidy it up a bit and keep it all a bit neat. So you've got a better quality hook on there, which are these ones here, which are extra strong pike trebles.
Yeah.
I think you're really going to struggle to snap one of them on a fish whatsoever because they're very strong. This trace line's made up with £34, which is super trace, which is an individual trace you can buy from Drennan to make them up as parts.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I'd say as you're starting off, as this is like a beginner's sort of go through your tackle, you can either obviously buy a float kit with everything to go and have a go for a day, or you can buy your snap tackles ready to go and make up your float and put it all on yourself, or obviously you can buy individual items, so being trebles, trace wire with crimps. That's another brand of trebles there. All different shapes and sizes, from 4s, 6s, 2s. That's even a little number 12 there on a treble for the guys fishing for the smaller sort of pike and perch. We've got egg weights. That's another one which a lot of people use in conjunction with the floats. It's just to basically cock the float, but you have to bear in mind if you're not fishing over depth on the bottom and you've got quite a big dead bait, it's hanging in the water, don't put too big a weight onto the ground of your float, because the weight of your bait will sink it.
Yes. Unhooking is a thing with pike, especially beginners.
Yes, so right, we've got a few bits here for unhooking. Well, we get those. So that's split ring pliers for plying things apart. Has the little sort of, I don't know if you can open that. You see the nose on them there.
Oh, just let's have a look at that. Yeah.
There.
The point is for putting the.
That's it. So that's just to get into a split ring, and when you push it, it splays it open, and you can get inside and put something over. A pair of crimping pliers. 2 various size crimps.
Nice small ones,
yeah, which is nice. You don't need anything really bigger than that on the pike traces. I mean, I've seen some of Graham's crimping tools. They're like for a fireman, I think, to cut things open. But yeah, very nice little natty things. You can get whole little sets of these. This is Fox Rays, and then we've got what they call a pistol grip plier. So pistol pliers. Some people prefer the action of those to hold on to them. You've got an option of crimping on these, and obviously just a pair of pliers which you can also use for unhooking.
And just looking at that, what I'm going to say, from the marlin fishing, you've got cup to point, or you've got cup to cup. People won't think they're all the same, but they're not. That pushes into that hole.
That's it.
This compresses a mini double sleeve, a sort of figure 8 size together. That's quite a handy tool. I've never seen one with both.
You've got both on there. You'll find actually a lot of them now. So this is another brand, Savage Gear. Have the same options as the cutters. It's quite. I'll slide them out.
Yeah, that's quite a good idea.
But this one doubles up. You've got a split ring plier.
Yeah.
You've got the various different types of crimps, from quite small as well.
Yeah, small ones,
different types, and you've got a pair of cutters on there which will cut any trace wires as well. So it's quite a good,
nice big
good tool.
tough handles.
Nice tough handles.
And a bit of iron so you don't drop them in the grass and lose them.
We don't want camo green in tools or anything. You want fluorescent colours, so you don't leave them behind, because they definitely catch your eye before you leave. This is another set of pliers here with sort of a crimping tool, very similar to the Fox ones again. So you've got split ring pliers, crimp, plus a little wire cutter on there as well.
Yeah.
There you go, tell you all your little functions there on the side there, if you can make them out.
Yeah, got them.
Okay, right, and then we go for de-hooking tools. So generally, pike gag, thing of the past, which not many of you new beginners will see a pike gag, or
wouldn't know what they were.
See one or know what one is. Yeah.
Some people have tried to get me to use one on my wallet. It hasn't worked.
We'll prize a bit out of you, Graeme, don't worry. So this is a pair of 10-inch forceps. A lot of people recommend 12-inch forceps, but between the two, not a massive difference.
Yeah.
So they're a bit more luxury with posh handles, rubberised grips, just by another brand. So that's Fox, and this is what everyone else remember as a forcep. It's just a plain metal forcep, 12-inch. You can get straight forceps, which is this one.
Yes.
There's a slightly smaller set here. I've got 12 inches and that as well, and they do a curved forcep.
That's the ones I use.
Which I like a curve because
you roll the hook out.
You roll the hook out and you're away from it. You're not straight to it. So I think they're a good little feature there. So obviously one of the other aspects you will need for pike fishing is a big landing net and a decent unhooking mat for unhooking your fish as well. Right, so I've got some examples of some of the dead baits I have in stock at the moment, and we are waiting another big delivery as it's been going really well. So we'll start off here with the blueies. These are a fish from the Indian Ocean, really oily, really smelly. I find it does really stink, and it's been a very good bait, which is something you probably, not everybody's heard of a bluey. You know, the anglers have been around for a while, they do work really well. So we've got 2 sizes in these. That's a mini bluey, and then we have the large bluey that's sort of like 10 inches, 12 inches long,
so they could use a section of that, couldn't they? Split it in half.
Yeah, split in half, so you get 2 baits. So there's another good one, which is one of my favourite pike baits. It's called a scad, which is a horse mackerel, which you might have seen from other places. Or is he written on there anywhere?
They tick the box somewhere, don't they, on those? But that is, we both know it's a scad or something.
We say it's a miscellaneous one then, obviously, it's not on there. So, but that's a scad, a horse mackerel. You know, if one have a little yellow fin and then not the nicest looking thing, but seem to work very well for the pike. So a bit oily like mackerel as well. Another one a lot of you would have heard of, sprats. A lot of people pick them up from the supermarket as well when they're on offer.
God, we've had trouble getting them the last 2 years, honestly. A lot of trouble getting them.
We've got plenty here. So little freezer packs, but a nice sort of cheap bait, a few baits. One of the things we've been playing around with for the last few years is pre-baiting. I don't know if you've done any of that yourself, Graeme.
Yeah, catapult mount,
and catapulting out, over the space of the week, going up every other day, putting some baits in, and I found you definitely catch a few more pikes. That's another little tip there that could work on a quiet water. Obviously your more natural fish, and I wipe them off because they're frozen, yeah. So that's your little roach. We do a few different sizes of roach. These are our small roach, which I find
that's my size,
guys, zander guys, a bit of everything really. When we get two sizes, you get sort of like a 4 to 6 inch roach, would be like a pair of them together in length. We just get a few different types every now and again. Or the hot bait at the moment, which everybody goes mad for, that you can only get hold of one time a year. They get netted in the summer, and this is a smelt, which is also known as a cucumber fish because it's really sort of strange, random, oily smell to it. But we've got lots of these, and these are called a maxi smelt, just because of the pure size. The other ones are a lot smaller. They're more like the size of these roach that you normally see.
For beginners, if they're just going out, they've got the gear off, you've got the rigs.
Yeah.
Would you suggest going with a slightly smaller bait to catch obviously possibly a smaller pike, or at least catch something?
Yes. So, but we also do another one, which I have run out of today, Graeme, unfortunately, just we popped in, is a pike pack, which will give you a sprat, maybe a smelt, a little mackerel, a bluey. So you've got like about 5 different baits for sort of £5. It's like a pound a bait almost. Yeah. But you can cut them in twos, and it's just a good way of starting off to see if your water prefers that sort of bait. One thing you would have to check in all your places you're pike fishing, some people don't allow you to use the coarse fish when you're pike fishing.
Even the natural dead baits on here. Yeah.
Some will only allow sea fish.
Only.
Yeah, but just check your rules and your regulations to where you're fishing, and also check if you're barbed or barbless hooks is worth doing. So
brilliant.
Well, that's just a few of the baits. There are lots more, and perhaps when I get my mackerel delivery, I can show you some of our stunning mackerel that normally come through as well.
Sounds good to me, Grant. I appreciate your help, and hopefully some of the beginners have got some information there. Well, the busy lizzies are starting to go on the way out as they do in the winter. You can see they're got very sparse, so they're going to get lifted soon. The same with these marigolds. The seed heads are still throwing up, but they're very squishy and mushy in the damp. So I've already had seeds off of those. But obviously other plants are coming into their own now, as these giant pampas, which started off as 6. I think they were £6.50 plants I bought 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Chopped them up, split them, spread them, chopped them up again. And of course, look at the lavateria. What's this about? That purpley thing. It's still going, and it's November. Next week anyway. So all looking good here, very pretty. That's our winter show. But of course the other plants are going to have to be lifted, like these geraniums. Normally just deadhead them and they keep shooting, because they're not going to throw many new heads up now. So I've got to dig them up and try and keep them in a potting shed through the winter. This one is the best one we've had. I've chopped it out 3 times. Now, one of you guys out there did contact me and say they knew exactly which bush it was. It's very, very good for insects and bees, but whatever you do, Graeme, don't cut it back. It doesn't flower properly the next year. Tell me what to do. It's getting out of hand, and how far do I cut it and when. Roses, still in bud, but I fear the buds aren't going to come to much now at this time of year. We're looking right down the barrel of November. It wasn't a great year for roses, I found this year. We had some, but they wasn't particularly good. This was a beautiful success. It's a small bush fuchsia, I'm calling that. Somebody might know. Can anybody tell me what it is? Got a couple from Tesco's, dead cheap. I wish I bought 20 of them. They're brilliant. Lasted all summer into the autumn and still going now. Unbelievable plant. These, again, came from the supermarket. Had a great show, these gladioli. But what do I do with them, people? There must be a gardener out there can tell me. And this one, wow, the wildflower. This just will not give up, this guy. We got 2 of them left. We planted some seeds, just wildflower seeds. They were brilliant, attracted all the insects. Look, it's nearly, it must be 3-4 feet tall. I have taken seed heads off it, of course I had. But they get damp now, they tend to go very hard. I'm not sure what the seeds are like, but I have got enough, and they will be dead. Well, they're going to definitely be planted for next year. We had a great show of them. And listen, you know what it is, people? Yes, it's free. Free seeds.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed that little random selection there I put together. Bit of a fiddle to put together to get all the footage together, but listen, it's interesting for me editing, to be honest, and it keeps me from watching the absolute. There's nothing on the box that I can watch anyway, other than the news. My God, that's depressing on every channel at the moment. So, thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. We appreciate it. Hop over to Mike's, go over to Mike's and see TA Outdoors, and of course his other one, The Life of Mike. He might have something going up on that soon. I've got stacks to do. I'm still trying to pump 2 a week out. It's getting pretty tough, but I'll do the best I can for you. See you next time.